Who's that guy in that old shirt? Who must be the fence expert? Who's that guy in that old shirt? Who must be the fence expert? Time to talk about the fences. It's time to discuss operations and expenses. It's time, it's really time to elevate small businesses. It's time for Joe to drop his knowledge. It's relentless. This rhyme of mine is getting a bit ridiculous. Here we go. We're live with Joe. Enjoy the show.
What is up, Fence fam? Joe Evers, the fence expert, coming to you with the one and only Nick Rike from the AFA to give us a AFA update, specifically right now rolled around training and education.
Absolutely. How y'all doing?
Nick, for maybe like the 2 or 3 people that haven't met you, haven't heard of you, maybe a brief introduction.
Yeah. So my name is Nick Rike. I am the Director of Professional Development for the AFA. I've been around the industry a little over 24 years now. So I've been around a little, actually, came from the fence industry, installing, doing gate operators, all that. And then I went into wholesale, and now I work full time for the AFA, overseeing education.
Very good. So from hands-on to in leadership and giving others hands-on experience.
Yep. I do what I can, man. I even, I was on the board for a while. I was the Florida chapter president. And so, I've done a little bit of everything now.
I love it. There's a lot of experience there is the Cliff Notes version of that. Tons of experience. Now you've been busy lately. You guys have been on the road training.
Oh yeah, yeah. We it's now hitting the busy time of year. Just like all the chapters have all their events. We start out hot and heavy with FenceTech early, and then we do a couple OTRs, and then we take a little time off during the summer, and now we're back into training season. So just got back Friday from the OTR up in New York. We actually did 3 courses up there. We did the welding school on Tuesday, and then we had the fence installation and the operations manager course. We talk about these being regional shows, but across those 3 classes, we had 13 different states covered, including 3 people that came all the way to Saratoga Springs, New York from Washington State just for the welding.
Oh, good grief.
Yep.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So we hit a little bit of everybody. It's awesome.
Literally across the country.
Yes, sir.
That's incredible. 13 different states.
Yep.
All represented there in New York.
Yep. Yeah. It was really cool.
So, and it sounds like you guys covered kind of the wide range. So welding, installation, and operations management.
Yeah. So, we do the GADs quite a bit when we do these, but we did GADs last time we were up there.
Okay.
And they specifically said, hey, look, we've got a lot of people talking about this operations manager course. Would you mind doing that this time? And this whole OTR kind of came about from Thai Metal. I saw them at a couple different shows early in the year, and they said, hey, look, we loved having y'all up here. We really want to support y'all. Would you consider doing another show or another training? And absolutely, we will. And they do it up right for us. The welding school, they gave us multiple welding tables with their folks who weld all day, every day. I mean, they're top notch. And we actually even had the opportunity to get like a level 1 certification. So we had a kid who had never welded before, spent 5 or 6 hours pretty much nonstop hands-on welding, and then took the certification, and they tested it out, and they have to do a filler weld, and they have to go through a couple things, and then they actually cut it in strips, and they put it in the bending machine, and it can't break, and then they inspect it to make sure there's no holes, and he actually passed. So I think we had 1 or 2 people pass the level 1 welding exam. So it's a fantastic facility, and it worked out really well.
Love that. Love that.
Yep.
Now, the operations management newer course, not new, but newer course, it sounds like. And it sounds like it's really coming together. At mid-year, heard a lot of talk about it, and it sounds like it's really coming together as a course.
Yeah, so we had it for a couple years, and we had some folks that did a great job kind of getting it started and getting it kicked off. And then, there was a group of us that got together and just thought maybe it just needed a little revamp. And so Robert Whitaker, Michael Whitaker, Dan Tuberville, myself, Michael Reed jumped in, and we just kind of did a revamp of it. And we launched it last year at Carolinas by the Sea, and kind of took the information that we got back from them and what we learned from teaching the class, and we went through and kind of redid it a little bit again. And so now we're kind of finalizing the course. And so we actually taught it last week. It's being taught again this week at the Pacific Northwest event. And then by the time we get to November, it's going to be hard set. This is what the course is, and we'll have enough feedback from everybody to make sure we hit all the important points.
I love it. I love that so much. So you mentioned November.
Yes.
And I believe that's going to be the meat and potatoes of this interview is AFAU. It's always been big, but this year feels even bigger. In years past, and correct me if I'm wrong, but in years past, it's been 2 different locations. So Grapevine, Texas, Tulsa, one for automation, one for installation. This year, it's combining both schools into one incredible school is what it sounds like.
Yeah, kind of. So we've done a little bit of everything. We used to run the fence installation school and the operations manager school the same week at the same hotel. And then we added in a couple of the other schools, and it just got kind of crazy. And so they tried separating them into 2 weeks one year. And then last year, it just so happened that they were separated in 2 locations. And for me, I love when the guys and the girls get together. And so I love having everything in the same location, everybody there. It's just like FenceTech or anything else. You get around all of those people and you get excited about what's going on. And maybe you're taking course A and you see somebody in course B and you're talking to them later and you're like, man, so-and-so at my office needs to come to that next year or whatever. And so it's that collaboration to see that there's more than just what you do. If you're the one out there, you dig holes for a living and set posts and all that, there's nothing wrong with that. But man, look, there's 4 other things or 5 other things going on here that maybe you want to get to later, or maybe there's, like I said, somebody else at your company that needs that training or whatever. So I love having everything in the same location.
Well, absolutely. And it kind of falls into the message of AFA is where you grow.
100%.
Right. Just that, whether you're starting in at the office or whether you're starting in the field or whether you're starting in a shop, welding, there's always that growth roadmap.
Correct.
Right?
And we're showing that with the career pathways. And that's the whole purpose behind those career pathways, is to show folks, hey, it doesn't matter what level you're on, or, where, like you said, where you start. Maybe you started in the office and you just really aren't digging it, but you love working with your hands. Well, cool, man. Here's 3 other places that you can go and get training and areas that you can get to in the industry itself. So it's not just a job. I mean, as well as I do, you can make an entire career out of this industry.
Absolutely. That's the thing, is the growth potential. That's one of the things we talk to new hires about, is like the growth potential is unreal in the fencing industry, just because, and not only at our company, but you can take this experience and apply it really anywhere. We've had team members here that, because of life changes, that sort of thing, move elsewhere, but they're able to take the skills they learned here, directly apply them there, and just continue their growth at wherever their new location is. We're not unique in that as an industry, but it is nice as an industry to have that kind of carryover experience that can apply really anywhere in the country.
Exactly. Absolutely. So
skipping ahead a little bit. So tons of courses, 6 courses altogether, a little bit of overlap. A lot of them are specific, and I say overlap. Well, I tell you, let's go over the courses if you don't mind.
Sure.
What courses if we're going to Grapevine, Texas, what courses can we expect to find?
All right. So like you said, we've got 6 schools going on during the week. So we start out hot and heavy. Sunday night, everybody's going to show up. We're going to have a welcome dinner. We're going to have some things going on, but that's going to be your 5-day fence installation school, the 5-day gate operator installation school, the 2-day sales training school, and the 2-day leadership academy. And so we kick it off with a bang right off the rip. And then, like I said, the sales training and leadership is only 2 days. So they'll go home Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon. The other 2 classes, which is the operations manager course and the fence contractor business school, they come in, they'll have class Thursday and Friday. And then we have our testing event on Saturday. So anybody that wants to test for any of our certifications can test out on Saturday.
And not necessarily someone that's gone through the courses, right? So if someone needed to retest, would they be able to test there as well?
100%. So all of our courses are technically set up where they're self-study. You don't have to go to any of our classes to take the certification test. So you can just read the book and then come and test. And as a matter of fact, when I went through and got my CFC, which is the certified fence contractor, I was actually there teaching at the gate operator school all day. And then at night I would go back and read the books. And then on Friday, at that time we did testing on Friday, but on Friday when everybody was taking the gate operator test, I went and took the certified fence contractor test. So I never went to any of the classes. Okay. I really wanted that certification, and so I studied and got it. That's true with all of our certifications.
That's incredible. So, I mean, if you have time, the on-site training is obviously valuable,
100%.
Right? So I sat in on a few of the classes last year, and I think a lot of, one, instructor-led, right? Experienced instructors leading others. But 2, it seemed like there was a ton of collaboration just by everyone in the room. Even those participating in the course or there to learn from the course were actively participating and kind of giving feedback and making it really a community learning experience.
Yeah, and that's the way most of our classes are set up. Is we want to teach you what the things that we have to teach you, the ASTMs, the ULs, the things like that are kind of the laws that we have to abide by. But at the same time, we want to learn from each other. And it's like, okay, we run into this situation. Here's a great, bit of information on it. How do you handle it? Because no matter what it is, whether it's building a fence or whether it's putting in an operator, everybody does it just a little bit different. And Absolutely. There are times where somebody's like, well, man, we ran into that and we started doing this. And it's like, oh, that's awesome. And so that becomes, something that we'll put in the course or something a story that we tell or whatever it is. And it just helps everybody learn.
And that's kind of the funny thing, right? Is everyone feels like their market is unique to everywhere else. They say, well, you guys got it good because I've got sand, or I've got this, or I've got that. And then somebody else pops up like, oh, you think you got it bad?
Yeah.
Listen to what, and everyone starts comparing notes and then realizes the specifics can be different, but the overall generalities are always the same. You're going to have ground conditions that you have to contend with, whether it's sand or whether it's clay or whether it's rock. I mean, there's always some sort of condition that's less than ideal. So, and I feel like those classrooms are where that comes out, right?
100%.
To say, okay, well, have you thought about doing this? And it might not exactly apply in your situation, but usually you can tweak it to make it work.
Well, and then the bonus is by creating those areas where everybody can kind of gather and talk and stuff like that, you build a network. And that's the whole other ththing. Above and beyond any education you get, the networking that you get from these courses. Now, all of a sudden, when you run into an issue or you have a problem that you don't know how to fix it, or you've never seen it before, there's 6, 8, 10, 50, 60, in the gate operator school, we run 70 plus people through that school. So you got a ton of people that now all of a sudden you have talked to and hung out with and that you can call that, maybe will help you to walk you through it or tell you how they fix it, or, oh yeah, I just saw that. This is what we did. Whatever the situation is, you just have that network of people that you can call.
Well, and the community is huge.
Yes.
Right. It's just having that network is completely invaluable to where, you've got a Rolodex of professionals that you can reach out to and say, hey, when we were talking, you mentioned this, but I forgot exactly how you were applying it. What would you look at, or how would you handle the situation? And you've kind of got a dream team of other contractors in your specific area, or, your specific niche of the industry, that are, the fence industry is incredible in that everyone's here to help everybody for the
Absolutely.
most part. And so you have access to that through the courses as well.
Yeah, and not just the students. All of the instructors are available too. And most of the time we hand out a list with the instructor contact info. So if there was something that, you didn't quite understand, you can call them and say, hey, you were talking about this in school. Can you give me a little more info on it? Or, hey, I ran into that exact situation you were talking about. Can you remind me how to fix it? Whatever it is. So whether it's making sure you have somebody from the class that you can call and you're not calling your competitor, you're calling somebody 6 states away that you don't even deal with, but,
Yeah.
or whether you're calling the instructor, you've got that network of people that you can lean on.
Which is huge. And that's just added benefit, right?
Well,
not only are you getting the education and learning as a community, but you get the built-in community with it as well.
absolutely.
So, and there's some overlap here, right? As far as courses go, sales, but also leadership, business, and operations. A lot of those kind of overlap with each other. I mean, I could see taking someone from the fence installation school that did really well last year and then running them through leadership,
Sure.
right? Because they can take those leadership skills. I mean, leadership you can apply anywhere.
Yep.
It's not really specific. But a lot of times also, if you're depending on the trajectory, depending on the growth path, a lot of these you could 1 year do sales, and then I could see sales also benefiting from knowing the business side or the operations side, knowing how things, or fence installation school for that matter,
Yeah.
knowing how the fence is built and why it's scheduled this way and that sort of thing. So it seems like there's a lot of year-on-year growth potential here as well.
Sure. So, the Leadership Academy, one of the main things about that is how to communicate and how to understand that different people have different communication styles and figure out what your leadership style is and how that works with other people who learn or communicate different ways. But we've got elements of leadership in most of our courses. So the Operations Manager School has a whole section on building high performance teams. Well, that's leadership. We're currently working on creating the Foreman School. So we're constantly working, and expanding that career pathway. We noticed that there was some things that were missing. And one of those is the Foreman School. And the Foreman School is going to have a section of leadership because you are technically the leader of the crew or you're leading the job site or whatever it is. And so leadership, like you said, is across the board, something that could be beneficial to anybody, no matter what their position is in the company.
Absolutely. Well, and I feel like, again, a lot of these courses are that way,
Mm-hmm.
to where even if your path starts in the office, maybe, reception or material sales, you could benefit. And actually, there's a couple people in the fence installation school last year that were from the office track. but they
Yeah.
said, hey, we want to learn how this is built so that when we're getting questions about fittings and construction, that we know we can speak in an educated manner as to what do you need, but also why do you need it, sort of thing.
Sure. Yeah, we get that a lot. Both manufacturers, wholesalers, office personnel, and then obviously, the installer, and that happens across the board, where people that have never installed a fence, never touched anything, come out and spend 5 days and actually get hands on and learn how to do it. And I 100% agree with you. It's beneficial across the board, no matter where you're at in the company, because then you have a better understanding and you can speak better to what's going on. So absolutely.
And no one's ever regretted having too much education or
That's
having
right.
too much experience either.
Yep.
I mean, it's just because it doesn't apply to your current walk in life doesn't mean it won't apply sometime down the road as well.
Yep. Absolutely.
So we covered the who and the what. Let's talk about the when. It's coming up. I mean, we're recording this in mid-September. It's coming up in early November.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we always try to do it that first full week in November. So this year, the school actually starts on November 3rd, which should be the first Monday of November.
Yeah.
Everybody will arrive, like I said, that Sunday. We do the welcome dinner. We're actually going to move things around a little bit this year, and we're going to do a little bit of training that Sunday night.
Okay.
So it's going to kind of kick the week off right and get everybody in the right mindset is the
Nice.
thought process behind it. But so we've got the 5-day schools go the 3rd through the 7th. We've got the first 2 schools on the 3rd and the 4th, and the second 2 schools on the 6th and the 7th. And then, like I said, we've got our testing on Saturday the 8th.
Perfect. So it's all kind of contained in that 1 week, which
Yep.
is super nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And again, the where, let's talk about the where. So it's all right there in Texas this year.
Yeah, it's all just north of DFW Airport. We're in Grapevine, Texas. It's at I believe it's the Renaissance.
Yep.
It's right next to Bass Pro Shop, man. It's easy to get to. It's a
Perfect.
10-minute Uber ride. It's an awesome facility. One, it's one of the hotels that's open all the way up. So they've got this
Oh, nice.
kind of grand foyer area, and they've got a ton of seating. The classrooms are big. We've got plenty of space to spread out. And then for the fence installation school, in years past, we've either been right on site and kind of had to deal with the little bit of space that we had, or we had to take a 20-minute bus ride. Well, this time we're going basically right across the street to a place called Austin Ranch. It's like a 2-minute ride. So it's going to be fantastic that there's not a lot of lost time in travel or anything like that. And everything everybody needs is right around there. There's gas stations and extra restaurants if you want them or whatever. And so I think it's going to be a fantastic school. And let's be honest, Dallas is easy to get to from just about everywhere. So that's kind of the easy, nice thing about keeping it in the center of the country. It's usually pretty easy to get there.
Well, and weather in November is going to be nice too.
Yes.
Not run into, shouldn't run into inclement weather. I mean, it's also fall, so you never know, but should be good weather for building fence as well.
Yeah, we usually plan to have 1 day of rain. It usually happens whether it's in the morning or in the afternoon, whatever. We know it's going to happen. We just kind of plan for it. And if it doesn't happen, bonus. If it does, we've got stuff to fill it. And the cool thing is at the Austin Ranch, they actually have a venue where they do wedding receptions and stuff like that. So during the day for lunch, we'll be coming in and actually using that venue. So they'll be able to come in and sit down and actually have a lunch versus,
Nice.
pulling up a skid and sitting down. And if it does rain, we can bring everybody in, and we've got plenty of blueprint reading and all kinds of courses that we can fill the time with. So no matter what happens, they're still going to leave there knowing more than they came in with.
Perfect. Sounds incredibly efficient.
We try.
So I feel like we've already covered the why, but maybe we'll talk on that for a minute. Maybe let's talk about the why from the fence contractor that isn't really involved maybe with any associations, but is looking for just education. I mean, that contractor is just as welcome as a current AFA member. Would that be accurate?
Absolutely. Yeah. Anybody's welcome. The deal is if you are not a member, unfortunately, you're going to pay a little more, which
Sure.
I'll be honest, we're a little self-serving. We kind of set it up like that on purpose.
Sure.
If you're a member, you're going to save money. We want to kind of give back that way. However, if you're not a member, you can become a member and then still save the money. So, we kind of work it out to where it makes sense. If you're sending a couple people through this, it's the discount is going to by far pay for your membership. And then you're also going to save money once we get to FenceTech, which we'll talk about here in a little bit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a win-win all the way around to be involved. But I just wanted to, because maybe there's that question out there of, and just in general, is I'm not a member, can I still participate? And without doubt, and whether we're talking about, we've had this conversation with some of the chapter presidents.
Yeah.
They welcome these guys and gals to the meetings, whether they're members or not. You guys welcome them to training, whether they're members or not. I mean, there's incentives to become a member, but it's not a requirement.
Correct.
Come and see what it is, sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. End of the day, all of the instructors, the folks that are really involved with the AFA, we just want to benefit the industry. We want to move the industry forward. If you want to be a member, fantastic. Jump in, get involved in a chapter, come to our courses, come to FenceTech, whatever. If you don't want to be a member, but you're still looking for training and stuff, well, come on. We don't have any issues. We don't hold any ill will. We're not going to force you to be a member in order to do this. Come on out. We love it when people show up.
Absolutely. So someone out there is interested in learning more. How do they learn more about it? How do they register? How do they get connected?
So this is exciting news. So we have been working for months and months and putting together a new AFA website. So the new AFA website just launched. I think it's much easier to navigate the website. The drop downs are there. The information is there. So if you're looking for these courses, if you go to the new AFA website, there's the 3 bars at the top that opens up a drop down. Just look for, in red under education, it's going to say upcoming events. And you click on that and it takes you to all the events. We've got chapter events on there. So the Carolinas by the Sea event is there because, like I said, we're doing GADS this week. The Pacific Northwest event is on there where we're doing GADS and Operations Manager. They've got the Yellowstone event, which is coming up, where we've got some education going on. And then obviously all the stuff for AFA University in November is on there. And you can get to it either through the events tab, or if you're looking at a specific school, under that education, you can click on the school and then it will allow you to register from there. It'll tell you the next time that school's coming up, and then you can click right from there. And the same thing with the testing. If you just want to go and take a test, you go to the certifications tab, you click on, whichever certification is you want, you get signed up and you say, hey, I'll be at this event, and it'll push it all through for you. It makes it real nice and easy.
Perfect. So it's a one-stop shop.
Yes. Yeah. I hope people go check out this new website, because Sarah on our team worked very hard on it, and all of us kind of helped with each of our sections, but she was really kind of spearheading it, and it's fantastic.
Perfect. Let's switch gears a little bit. You foreshadowed AFA, the FenceTech coming up. I mean, I say coming up, it'll be here before we know it. You want to talk about some educational opportunities. Again, talking about mid-year when they were running down the list of just all of the educational opportunities at FenceTech. It's safe to say this is probably the most education that's been held at a FenceTech ever.
As far as I've been involved, I've been going to FenceTech since 2014, something like that. Yeah. It's the biggest one I've ever seen. And same deal, man. We kick it off with a bang right off the rip. So we've got GADS and we've got the Leadership Academy on Monday. We've also got a 4-hour education session with Tony Thornton in the morning. We got a 4-hour education session with Sean King in the afternoon. And that's just Monday. Then Tuesday, Tuesday's where it gets crazy. Between all day Tuesday and Wednesday morning, I currently have 71 education sessions. Plus, we've got a couple of free events that are going on in the additional classrooms that are right next door. So I think right now we're sitting at 74-ish education opportunities between Tuesday and Wednesday. And the show floor hasn't even opened yet. And I mean, it's insanity.
Well, and that's one of the reasons why when we're talking to contractors, fencing contractors, we say plan on being there early, right? Yes. Because all of this is going on, right? That get plugged in, get educated, add a couple days onto your trip in the beginning to show up and really take advantage, because where else are you going to get access to all of this coursework in one spot? I don't know of anywhere that you're going to find 70 plus courses in under one roof within a couple days.
Yeah. I mean, you bring your whole company because we've got it broken down by business, sales, leadership, install. We've got a couple of Spanish taught courses this year. We've got a couple of courses specifically for ag fence this year. I mean, we really tried to kind of round it out and provide as much education from top to bottom, no matter where you're at in the industry. And of those 70 some odd sessions, we've got over 50 different speakers. So you'll have the opportunity to kind of pick and choose and go where you want to go. And then we're also doing something a little different this year. Friday, normally things kind of start winding down on Friday, and that's fine. But to kind of help people stay, or if by chance somebody can't come until later, did you happen to see the speaker from last year, Van Morris?
I did. We actually interviewed him there at FenceTech. Yeah.
So he's going to be a closing speaker for us. So after the show ends on Friday, we're actually going to have a closing speaker, and he's going to kind of wrap the show up for us. Plus, we've got a SIG breakfast. So our special interest groups are doing a big event Friday morning before the show floor opens. So, I mean, this week, FenceTech this year is going to be jam-packed from Monday morning until Friday after the FenceTech doors close. It's going to be absolutely insane.
It's one big fence week.
Yes.
Whether you're talking about education, where you're talking about just the show floor, whether you're talking about keynotes, but also closing speakers. We haven't even gotten into pickets and pit stops, the opening party. We haven't gotten into any of that.
No.
This is Fence Week. Fence Week comes to Indianapolis, essentially, is what this is.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we want to come in and take Indianapolis over and just have, FenceTech is normally fence people pretty much wherever you look, but we want to just take it to the next level in Indy this year.
Well, and you guys are providing the most amount of value possible within that week, right? Because if you're taking the time out of your business or away from the business, or if you're bringing your team members away from the business, you want to cram pack as much value into that time spent away as possible.
100%.
And it sounds like you guys are executing on that mission to make it the most value jam-packed into a week you possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, we understand ROI, and we understand, it's expensive to get your team out there, and they're taking time away from the office or from job sites or whatever. And so, like you said, it's got to be worth your while to bring people out there. And, I mean, I've heard different stories. There's one company that shuts their entire company down and they bring everybody with them. There's one person that I was talking to a couple years ago that said he brings his top 3 foremen with him every year. And it's kind of throughout the year, it's kind of a payoff. It's a benefit to the top 3 foremen. And then when he sends them out on the floor, not only do they go through education, which makes them better, when they go on the floor, he said, go find something that's going to make your job, your life, the installs, whatever it is, better or easier. And if we can do it, I'll buy it. And so it's kind of it's a reward program for them. So whatever it is you do, whatever you're there for, come to the education, learn the new things that you want to do or the new, products you want to use or whatever, and then go find those people on the show floor and check it out.
Absolutely. And talking about foreman turning them loose at the show, little sneak peek. I don't know we've talked. I mean, I know it's out there. We talked about it at mid-year, but this year is a little bit different at FenceTech too, in that you've added a whole new section, trucks, trailers, and tools. Or I probably said that wrong, but basically, it's like all of the toys of the fencing industry are going to have their own separate area.
Yeah. So the whole deal was when we were working on the show floor layout, there was an additional section that we technically had, but we weren't selling. And so when we went on the walkthrough and stuff like that, we just kind of throwing out ideas of, can we use this space? What can we do? Yada, yada, yada. And one of the things that came up was the tools, trucks, and trailers area, where we could kind of show off, we're trying to bring in a couple of the fence trucks. We're trying to bring in some of the bigger equipment that you don't always see on the show floor when there's carpet down and all that. So we're going to kind of leave it concrete and then bring in some of the equipment. And then we talked to a bunch of tool manufacturers, and it's like, look, we want to have this whole section where you guys can all be together and people can walk through and see the stuff that they don't know exists that's going to make their life easier, whether it's, post pounders or quick pulls, or whether it's, actual skid steer attachments, or whether it's, dandy digger or whoever it is. We're going to try to fill this up with stuff that's going to make people's lives easier. and show them what all is available, for the installation of fence and access controls and whatever else.
It's one of those ideas where right when you hear it, immediately clicks. They're like, oh, this is going to be good.
Yeah.
This is going to be really good. I could see myself spending a lot of time in that area specifically of just seeing all the toys. It's like, it's a little after Christmas, but it's Christmas come early maybe, or maybe a little bit belated Christmas. So Santa, if you're listening, maybe wait a little bit and come visit FenceTech, sort of thing.
Absolutely. Well, the season is just getting ready to get kicked off. So, everybody's just starting to ramp up and whatnot. And hey, why not come find out some new toys to make sure you can kick off your 2026 installs right off the rip with a bang.
Yep. Increase production and efficiency. That's the name of the game.
100%.
And I feel like that's a real conversation that's been going on the last several years, but it picks up steam a little bit more each year. Is how can we make the rock stars we have more efficient, more productive? Because this is also a bigger conversation about workforce and all of that. But the more you can make your existing team efficient, productive, but also make it easier for them, I think the better off everyone is.
Sure. Well, we were just talking last week at installation school. The guys still remember when they got their first fence hog. For I don't know how many people out there know what it is or have ever used one, but all of a sudden it just becomes that piece of equipment that you have, and you're like, oh, I don't know how we ever did this. And we're talking about having to hand spin wire when you're on a rough job site and stuff like that. And so it's just funny as you kind of find out what all's out there and how much easier you can make things. And guys now are doing what they're running around with remote control skid steers. And it's insane where it's at now from, where I started, and I'm sure where you started. And so, those tools, when you look at them, it's like, oh, that thing costs how much? And then you start thinking it out. And it's like, well, if it saves X amount of time per job, it pays for itself pretty quick. And even if it's just wear and tear on your employees, man, it pays for itself.
Well, and usually you find several of those. Right, is man hours saved per year. Typically, depending on the equipment, but typically you can justify that pretty easily by man hours saved in a year. But also just, employee experience, right, is just like, hey, we don't dread coming to work because I know the business is investing in equipment that makes my job easier so that I can operate at a higher level for longer and more consistently.
Yep.
And everyone becomes better that way.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's like you said, increasing efficiency. It makes more money for you. It makes more money for them. Everybody's happier. It seems to work out real well.
It's a win-win-win.
Yeah.
So guys and gals out there, mark it on your calendar. If it should have already been there anyway, because it's been on my calendar since FenceTech this year because it was plastered everywhere. Like, all right, let's put it in the calendar. Let's go. But if it's not on your calendar, it absolutely should be. Tons of education. Of course, the show floor that everyone knows and loves is getting even better. And and we haven't even talked about the fact that everything's connected, right? So that you can literally, if you're in, there's 3 hotels or at least 3 hotels connected that where if you're staying in one of the hotels, you can leave your room and be on the show floor without even putting on a jacket if you wanted to. That way, if inclement weather or cool weather or whatever, you can get from your room to the show floor without ever stepping outside. I think that's incredible.
Well, even the hotels that aren't connected, I think, are right across the street. So
they are.
Sorry, you're going to have to walk across the street to get in the convention center. But it's not like you're going to have to take a bus or a car or an Uber or anything like that. It's literally all right there. It's laid out really well.
Which I think was a major talking point when we were talking to people that were leaving FenceTech Salt Lake City, was that everything was there. The hotels, sure, were all kind of around, but also entertainment was there, food was there, the whole thing was there. And it sounds like we're setting FenceTech in Indianapolis up for the same experience where everything is literally right there.
Yeah, whenever we have the ability, that's definitely what it's the same thing. It's an ROI. We don't want to have a 30-minute ride into the facility or whatever, and we don't want people to have to drive 45 minutes to get to dinner because we know you're taking customers out or you're going out with vendors or whatever it is. And so, the more we can keep people in the area, one, we build that community. Two, you're making those connections. And three, it just makes it easier if things are close to where you can get to them and you don't have to worry about, where are we going to find dinner tonight? Well, there's 14 places right there. Where do you want to go?
Yeah, you could throw a rock and hit a dozen places that you could have dinner at.
Yep.
Yeah, which would be nice. Well, Nick, I tell you what, we've covered a lot of ground. We've talked about AFAU. Well, we recapped New York. Sounded like an incredible educational opportunity right off the rip. AFAU is right around the corner. Grapevine, Texas. It'll be here before we know it, 6 weeks. And then what's going to feel like a blink of an eye after that, we're going to be at FenceTech for even more education. There's a lot coming up in the next, handful of months.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, definitely check out the website, to give you guys an idea about the instructors and stuff that we have. Every year, the two competing schools, the big schools, so the fence installation school and the gate operator school, they try to have this argument about who has more years of experience from the instructors.
Yep.
In the last couple of years, it's been, 280, 350 years of experience for instructors. Don't get me wrong. We're talking, 8, 10, 12 people, but still,
right.
It's not, it's not newbies. These are rock stars in the industry that come out to give back and to teach, what they have learned across their lifetime in the industry.
Yeah. And they're specializing in their field.
100%.
Right. Like it's not just someone that has experience in general in the industry. It's someone that has experience in that discipline, whether we're talking about the gate operator side or whether we're talking about fence installation, whether we're talking about chain link within the fence installation school, you're learning from someone who has real world active experience building chain link fence for an example.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
So guys, to learn more, AFA's got a great new site. All of it's right there. If you can't find it, you're not looking. It's literally, I think you could probably find anything within about 3 clicks. It's all kind of just right there. Check it out. Of course, Nick, if they've got any questions, can they reach out to you directly?
Absolutely. So you can always hit me up. It's nick@americanfenceassociation.com. We've got member services at americanfenceassociation.com. We've got a fence tech at americanfenceassociation.com. So pretty much if you need help, if I can't do it, all the information's on the website as well. So you can find somebody that can help you in whatever area you're looking for that can give you more information and provide you the direct links.
Yeah. So just like I said, if you can't find what you're looking for, you're not looking hard enough. If you can't get in touch with someone, you're not trying. There are so many ways to get connected with your specific, question to get answered. Like I said, if you're not getting connected, you're not trying at all. So if there's one thing AFA I think is great at is being open and easy to access. And anyway, so head to the new website because I'm sure the contact information is on the website as well.
Absolutely, 100%.
Great. Guys, go to the website. Just start there and then see where it takes you. Well, Nick, thank you so much for making time available. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to come talk to us about all the educational opportunities that AFA has coming up.
Absolutely. Always appreciate your time, Joe.
Of course. Guys and gals, thank you so much for watching. For now, Joe Everest, the fence expert, reminding you that good fences make good neighbors.